What's going on, guys? It's Nick, aka November, coming back at you for another round of November news. And as always, I've got some cool stuff to talk to you guys about today. So without further ado, the first story I've got to talk to you guys about today is, it is confirmed that Karl Urban is in talks to reprise his Judge Dredd role in the upcoming series Judge Dredd Mega City 1. Urban is stated as saying, "I am in discussion with them about that. I told them that if they write the material and give Dredd something to do and give him a function, I will be there. I would love to." So it appears as though Urban is totally on board to be reprising his role as Judge Dredd. Executive producer of Judge Dredd Mega City 1, Jason Kingsley, stated, "We have been in discussion with Karl about his possible involvement in Judge Dredd Mega City 1 for some time. These conversations continue, but we're keen, he's keen. It's just a case of us making sure this show is everything we want it to be. This needs to be done right. The fans deserve it." Producer of the show, Brian Jenkins, added, and I'm paraphrasing his quote a little bit, "We've had many conversations prior to this. He's also very busy. So we're going to have some long and complicated conversations, I would imagine, and we'll see where we go. It's too early to tell yet, but if we can use him and he's available to us, then I think that would be absolutely brilliant." So all in all, it appears that all parties are on board for Karl Urban to reprise his role as Judge Dredd in this upcoming series. It seems to be that the only X factor at this time is going to be scheduling, as it doesn't appear that the project is far enough along for them to predict what their shooting schedule is going to be like, and therefore they're not quite 100% sure at this time whether or not Karl is going to be available for the project or not. Personally speaking, I loved Urban in the 2012 Dredd film, so hopefully all the stars can align and he can be Judge Dredd for the upcoming Judge Dredd Mega City 1 series. So here's to hoping. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about today is actually a continuation to a story I talked about all the way back in episode 1 of November News, and that is Adam West's final Batman project. Though Adam West had passed away earlier this summer, he has left us with one final Batman performance. And that performance will be in Batman vs. Two-Face, which is a sequel to 2016's Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders. Coolest thing about this project, other than it being Adam West's final performance as the Batman, William Shatner will be voicing the character Two-Face. When I originally covered this story, I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that was actually going to happen or not, so it is actually being confirmed that this project is happening now. This film is scheduled to be released on October 17th of this year. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about today is Mark Millar's creator-owned Millarworld has been purchased by Netflix. According to a press release, Netflix and Miller plan to bring Millarworld's portfolio of critically and fan-acclaimed franchises to life through films, series, and kid shows. Millarworld will also continue to create and publish new stories and character franchises under the Netflix title. Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos has stated Mark is as close as you can get to a modern-day Stan Lee. Pretty high praise. He goes on to say, "We can't wait to harness the creative power of Millarworld to Netflix and start a new era in global storytelling." Miller has said, "I'm so in love with what Netflix is doing and excited by their plans. Netflix is the future, and Millarworld couldn't have a better home." In my research, I found a cool little list of the 5 best adaptations from Millarworld to Netflix. This list is by comicbookmovies.com. You can also find it in the links down below. Number 5, Nemesis. A character that answers the question, what if Batman were the Joker? 4, Super Crooks, a washed-up band of villains that assemble to pull a daring heist. Boy with MS is granted the ability to transform into his comic book and big screen idol, Superior. 2, MPH. A small-time crook with dreams of going straight is exposed to a strange drug which enables him with super speed for small periods of time. And 1 is Starlight. Imagine being transported to a faraway planet, saving it, but returning home to have no one believe you. That's the life of Duke McQueen, but years later finds himself once again drafted into the action on the alien homeworld. The next thing I've got for you guys isn't really so much a story as it is a list of 10 things that you need to know about Infinity War. Number 10, it's a heist movie. 9, it may not take up a lot of the runtime for the Avengers to reunite. 8, there is no Captain Marvel. 7, Infinity War stands to be one of Marvel's longest films to date. 6, reportedly the leaked trailer does not spoil the end to Thor Ragnarok. 5, balance between Earth and space, Avengers and Guardians. 4, it is actually set 4 years after the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. 3, and I think we probably all know this by now, but Thanos will be accompanied by the Black Order. 2, Steve Rogers will not be Captain America, rather he will be donning his nomad persona. And number 1, Avengers 4 should begin shooting any day now, if it hasn't already begun already. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about today is Josh Brolin's Cable. Through my research, I found various articles on Josh Brolin's upcoming Cable character. So I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of each of those articles in this last segment. First thing I want to talk about concerning Josh Brolin's Cable is Rob Liefeld's reaction. Now, Rob Liefeld, if you do not know, is the original creator of Cable in the X-Men comic books. And he said, and I'm paraphrasing, "This is Cable. I think when you open up the oven and out comes that version of Josh Brolin's Cable, let's give some applause to the cooks." Liefeld does not hesitate to give credit to makeup designer Bill Corso, who is also working on Blade Runner 2. Liefeld finishes off with, "They nailed it. They showed it to the world, and they presented it wonderfully." On the subject of Josh Brolin playing Cable, director David Leitch reveals, "We couldn't cast a better Cable. We were filming last night and both Brolin and Reynolds were on set, and the chemistry was amazing." Now the next thing I want to talk about concerning the upcoming Cable character, there's a lot of rumors and speculation that's floating around at this time that the appearance of Cable could unite the Fox X-Men franchises. Now to explain this, I have to explain a little bit of Cable's comic book origins, and to say that Cable's comic book origins are a little bit complicated would definitely be an understatement. So here is the absolute basic of Cable's comic book background. He's the son of Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, and a clone of Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor, also known as the Goblin Queen. His birth was a plan by Mr. Sinister as a way to create a mutant powerful enough to destroy Apocalypse. Now we did get a tease of Mr. Sinister, aka Nathaniel Essex, at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. Upon learning of these plans in the comics, Apocalypse infected the infant with a techno-organic virus. As an infant, Cable is taken to the future believing there is a cure. While in the future, there is a clone of Cable made, whom later becomes Strife. As a child, this clone is captured and raised by Apocalypse, and upon adulthood, Cable returns to the present, followed by Strife. Now, the appearance of both Cable and Strife had a major impact on X-Men's comic history. It saw Strife forming a radical coalition of mutants, which in turn had Cable taking leadership of the New Mutants. Oh hey, wait. Doesn't Fox have a New Mutants film coming out? In the comic books, the New Mutants do eventually become X-Force, and an R-rated X-Force property has been teased from Fox for at least a few years now. At this point, I'd like to take a moment and also address the teddy bear worn on the hip of Josh Brolin's Cable and the images released of that character. There are many rumors that this teddy bear implies the existence of the Hope Summers character, whom has been a major player in the X-Men comic history throughout the last 10 or so years. She's been a focal point in almost all of their major crossovers in the last few years, so she is a major player in the comic book X-Men universe. All in all, this could mean the beginning of an MCU-style world for Fox's X-Men franchise. I personally am actually kind of interested to see what Fox might do with a possible shared universe for their X-Men franchises. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and find out how it all works out, but I really can't wait to see the future of the Fox X-Men franchises. So that's about all I've got for you guys today. I hope you found this episode of November News entertaining as well as informative. You can find links in the description on all the stories I talked about today. And if you ever want to stay on top of November news, you can check us out on our Facebook page, November Sierra. And like I always say, kids, if you're doing it right, you're not getting older. You're just getting better. I'll catch you guys around.